If you're struggling with something, it is absolutely, you have to allow that space when you're triggered, whether it's information, whether it's something that happened in the community, something happened between a loved ones, and a separation, that what part that you have avoided in your life and why is this information triggers. Now, we all want, when we don't work on ourselves, we want the world to be in a better place, world to be a safe place, world to be this. But if you're not looking at the parts that you have not dealt, I'm not saying that finding a logical answer, but let's say hypothetically someone has separated from you, someone is in a relationship or whatever the separation is. Now, when that energy comes in and you picked up on that energy, just settle down. Today's class is all about how to observe this energy, that in a space of agitation, whether it's a space of anger, whether it's a space of what is the root cause of that, that you're reacting to it. And so this is very important, all these classes that we have done, to understand that. And otherwise, you are not scared of that person. You are not scared of the separation. You are not scared of that. But I think what is most of the time, it's not about dealing with the word. I think you may have found the golden nugget in this. You're very scared to deal with yourself. I think the hardest part is not the world, is dealing with yourself. So today's classes is about, the practice is about, the sadhana is about, which is this part that is going to come up for you, and you allow that part so that you're not converting any of my teachings into to fabricate it so that it's so easy for you to again build up your subtle egos. Your ego is very scared. So it's very important for you to work on that space and allow these classes to come up, the practices to come up, and even taking the class for the second, third time, just to say, hi, Matt, good to see you. Now, saying that, take a deep breath in and allow your shoulders to roll back a couple of times, very gently finding a space that you can have that space of elongation, have that space of spread. And very gently, you cannot stop the conflict of the mind chatter, so don't just observe it if it's chattering, because it's like you're asking the TV show to change, but you're not changing the channel, but you're wishing for a different episode when your episode is habitually the same. So ask yourself, what is this for you today? This habitual fear of the unknown. So you want everything known to be exactly the same place it is, but it's not. Children are growing, relationships are growing, health is in its own ways. Now shrug the shoulders up, take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in, hold the breath, lock the anus, lock the navel, lock the throat into the chest. And very gently breath out, release the bandhas. Now the next breath in, shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back, anus lock and navel lock. And breath out. Now the next breath in, without shrugging the shoulders, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Breath out, twisting the spine to the right side, start very gently pulling. I will move the camera to consider because the visuals are much more better than looking at me. Breath in, back into the center, shoulders relax, Change the formation of the legs. Take a deep breath in, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Now get into those bandhas, especially on the space of the pelvic floor, and bring that energy up to the third eye and gently spread that joy, the compassion without the separation, the union of the bandha. Breath out, twisting the spine to the left side. Stomach pull in. Breath in back into the center. Now take a deep breath in, and while you're sitting, breath out, collapse the spine into a seated cat. Breathing in, tongue roll up, energy gaze onto the upper palate, coming into the space of a seated cow. Breath out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Now just observe the body. Actually, when you're feeling, whatever it's feeling, just observe. Back into the gentle spine. Stretch the neck to the right. Now let shoulder really drop. Engaging. Now your mind will teach you how to avoid pain, how to work around the pain, but it's not. It's just observe. Just try not to get out of the situation. Just observe the situation. Back into the center, onto the other side. Allow the breath to be the equilibrium. Back into the center. Now coming into the center, and the realization is we are getting rid of trying to keep things as it is. Why we are trying to keep things as it is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's our finance, whether it's friendships, because we are scared of the change. Now take a deep breath in and bring your left foot into the back. Take a deep breath in, the right hip on the pigeon pose. Shoulders relaxed. Take a deep breath out. Drop the elbows. Walk those palms. Palms facing up. Now just let go this body, totally holding into the happiness, holding into a fear of losing something. Just observing the body, you understand the part of the intricacy of the mind, gross part of the body. Every thought has a hold on the body. So this armor that you're building up for security has to be dropped in the body, because body doesn't like armor. So release that depression, that permanency is changing, and impermanence has entered into this body as the in-breath and the out-breath. This is what the breath teaches us. Birth and death. Well, people are very scared of death because they think it's going to be a very bad place, punished place. So there is every situation, there is a birth and a death. Every relationship, there is a birth and a death. Death that no longer serves us create another birth of living in a different way. Take a deep breath in, very gently coming back. Shoulders relax, stronger on the pelvic floor. Spread those fingers into a stronger plank. Let that shake comes. Just observe all these premature emotions that are coming up about all these conflict ideas of the separation. Take a deep breath In, very gently left knee onto the floor, right arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back, touch the floor, drop the knees, completely breathe out to a proper cat, drop the belly, breathing into a cow, breath out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock, curve the spine properly, bum flat. Now just observe all the impacts of your ego. It might say that I can live without you, I can do without you, but you're really scared when that thing happens to you. Observe the mind blabber because you are scared, and let that scared come. Where is that building from? Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Now to a neutral spine and give a hip a good rotation. Very gently allow that energy to subtly, that energy that if you have not dealt, it will start freaking you out. Wider rotation to the other side. Whatever the surface of the world now doesn't have that switch to your body. And stretch the spine. Palms facing up. Now just observe your mind. The ego is so strong, so it will give all the logic answers when things end in favor of you. But just observe. It's better you lose the battles with the mind rather than fighting these battles, because it neutralizes, it's alkaline the ground for you to move on. Otherwise, it will be a strong past, will haunt you in the future. It is already haunting in the present. Now, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Drop the belly, soften the hips. Breathing in into a gentle cobra. Now, observe in your past, every suffering has brought you a different level of energy. Every success has only numbed you to create the arrogance in the space of the ego. Or looking to the left side, or looking to the right side. It's not just the direction of the left and right, so that you also release in things. Back to the center. So you're looking at things without a separation. Even the worst fear in your life is no longer a fear then. Now take a deep breath in and relax the third eye onto the fist, elbow pointing out. Now in this observation, you are aware of the breath. So you are aware of in the present moment where my mind and body is without separation. You're not asking something else to change. You're not asking the class to change. You're not asking the situation to change. In that very moment, you're not running the repertoire of the habitual uneasiness. These are all imaginations, you know that. Back into the center. Palms onto the chest level, breathing into an up face. Elevate the posture, if you can, a little bit from the ground and allow the energy to move through, bathe through you, feel through you, breathe out towards the down face. Now, this is the first down face, so toes can be pointing at each other. Bending one knee at a time, releasing the tension, unlocking the hips would be a great time. Bending the knees, subtly moving into that down face. Now very gently left foot into the front onto the pigeon pose. Take a deep breath in, shoulders relax and chest open. Take a deep breath in. Breath out. Drop the elbows, walk those palms, release the tension. Observe. Huh? Observe the screen of illusion, the Maya, pulling you into something not a reality, the fear, the anxiety. Okay? Into the freaking out position. Now, for some of people, crying is a great way to release the tension of the ego because the mind ego has dropped the battle, taken the loss. But it is a great way to start the energy of the awareness if this is a stage wherever you are at. It has woken you from the illusion. Take a deep breath in very gently, coming back, shoulders relaxed, just open into a stronger plank. Right knee onto the floor, left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back, very gentle. Drop the knee completely, breathe out to the cat. Now the breath is the energy moving through and moving up. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the palate, energy gazing onto the third eye. Now you're looking into the movement, looking into the space of the present moment. Breathe out in a slow navel blow. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze, almost like moving, tongue roll up and place the tongue, the back of the tongue on the upper palate. Stretch that throat really well. Breathe out in a slow navel blow. Now neutral spine. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back, under the armpit. Now really become aware of the parts that are touching the earth, parts that are releasing, and allow the rest of the body to be on the space of opening. So you can release the anxiety, the tension, wherever you are holding through the week. Becoming aware of the place you are now in the present moment. Now there is nothing for you to worry about, cannot handle life. What you were saying before is you cannot handle the space of yourself if you have not come into this realization. Because your practice and your sadhanas has not allowed you to mature, to look at you. You're trained to look at every other person, every other situation. That's why people are addicted to chatter. It's an addiction to chatter, mind chatter. You got it so far? Now breath in, gently coming back, completely breathe out to the cat. Anus lock, navel lock. Bandhas are important. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the center. Breathing in now into the couch. Neutral spine. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling, under the armpit. Drop that shoulder blade. Now the breakthrough come is not feeding the same routine of the fears, same routine of the anxiety. You're facing it, you have the courage to work with it, release it. But don't ask the picture to change when you are doing the same thing again and again. But you're not doing, now you're observing. So whether it's a memory coming back, you suffer because you're bringing that memory and entertaining that memory. But you want the world to change, the relationship to change when you're playing the same thing. Health change. Then you can see these sadhanas and these practices are quite confronting because it's not loving to build up your ego. It is actually diminishing the illusion, the maya. So you're projecting the whole fear that you have not worked on will always haunt you because you have not dealt with it. So world matters will affect you, relationship, health, wealth, all these matters will affect you. Out of that projections that you are feeling. Gently coming back, completely breathe out to the cat. Let the body come into a neutral position. Let the breath comes into the new position. Let refresh the page of the mind. So it's breaking very gently from the neuropaths that it has been constantly creating out of a complaint, out of a fear, out of this, out of that, out of past. Breathing in tongue, roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. Neutral spine, give a good rotation to the hip and release the trauma. Release the trauma. Something has happened to you, but the trauma only gets stored in the body if you are blaming yourself. If you're blaming, if you're blaming somebody, somewhere, this situation, that situation. I'm not saying that things are not happen to you are not real, but if it is still carrying on, then the work that you need to do on a spiritual level hasn't been done. On to the other side. Stretch the spine and release. Palms facing up. Now just observe the mind. Does it need any entertainment? Now palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing into up face. Breathe out towards the down face. Now take a deep breath in. Let's put into the back. Left knee to the left chest. Breathe out. Breathing into the back. Left knee onto the left elbow. Breathing in, stretch back. Left knee onto the right elbow. Breathing into the left foot into the front. Arms stretch into the back. Arms raise onto the ground. Interlacing the fingers, palms facing up, bend the knees, sit deeper. Opening up onto the Virabhadrasana and very gently coming into that breakthrough. You're coming into the understanding, why am I fear of this? Into yourself, not as identity, as a realization that why is this name and the body and the past is scared of this. Because you cannot come into that realization if you're still coming back to you as identity. Gentle arch, breathing in, coming back into the center, elbow onto the knee. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Stretch the right arm into the front. Keep the alignment correct from the middle finger to the back toe in the same alignment. Now allow the energy to rise and allow the energy to breathe out and release that trauma, the tension that somebody doing wrong you. Somewhere in the world did wrong you. Now release that somebody and all that impact the body has. Take a deep breath into that realization, right arm reaching into the back, touch the floor. Now left arm reaching into the front, up to the ceiling. And very gently releasing this negative charge. But the conflict, if somebody is doing, there is always a fight. Reaching into the back, touch the floor. Now take a deep breath in, drop the back knee, holding onto the front knee and lunge forward and releasing any further tension on this posture. Take a deep breath in, arms stretching to the back, arms raise onto the crown and gentle arch. Elongate the spine if you're arching. Bit more elongate, allow the kidneys to buoyant. Breath out, spread the wings wide and wide. You didn't avoid anything, you just release things too, so that the body doesn't bring that again out of a situation into a plank. Stronger on the pelvic floor, stronger on the pelvic floor. If you can come now into the Chaturanga Dandasana or drop the whole body onto the floor, or coming into a push-up position where it is easy, breathing in into an up face. Breathe out towards the down face. Now breathing in, right leg up into the back, right knee to the right chest. Breathing in, stretch back, right knee to the right elbow. Breathing into the stretch back, right knee to the left elbow. Breathing in, stretch back, right foot into the front. Arms stretching to the back, arms raised onto the crown. Take a deep breath in, coming into the space where you're standing now, in this present moment. Virabhadrasana. Take a mudra of that realization that you have stopped the commentary and the movie. You know, when you watch a movie and a fearful movie that your face muscles change, now imagine that you're chattering in the mind these movies of fear. Imagine what it does to the body, does to the face. Gentle arch. Breathing in back into the center, elbow onto the knee. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Left arm reaching into the front gently. Get the alignment and very gently release these energies by being focused. Otherwise, before your age, your face will look into that space of age. the body will age because emotions are that strong if you are not dealing with them properly. The world has not taught us to observe and manage emotions. We are we are told to numb it, forget about it. When it is more, try to forget more, it comes up, whatever you have not dealt. Reaching into the back and touch the floor. That's why I'm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back touch. Now drop the knee, fall onto the front knee, release the tension, arm stretch into the back. Now elongate the spine with this posture, arms raise onto the crown, gentle arch. Open that space of the heart where the stagnation of, where the ribcage is over, protecting things, tightening it. Spread the wings wider and touch the floor. Now you also have to come into a realization that this is not a fight. This is not about winning. This is about a human coming into the connection of the being to healing. Into a stronger plan. Drop the knees. Give a good rotation to the hips. Wider rotation to the other side. So spine, palms facing up. Now that you have released the, now one thing is when we have fear, and we have not worked on the fear, there is a arrogance that also built up in the body. Arrogance to hide things. Arrogance to hide things not are true. Because ego doesn't like to be brought into light. So it will overprotect it by having certain levels of success, showing the world, showing this untruth part of you. So this is a very good time to take a couple of deep breaths and releasing that I'm not a superhuman. If there is something and I don't have to act that. The real strength is when the strength is to release this illusion. Out of that is where the energy turns into whatever the struggle turn into wisdom, turn into that space of the life, the realization, knowing, live, participate. There is a labor of love, but these qualities of suffering blossom in the end. Coming to that space, not the victim of it. Because if you're a victim of it, you could see that your children, your grandchildren will suffer, a whole lineage will suffer with the same story. It's happening in the world. Break the cycle, break the movie. It's up to you. Don't leave it to the front. Don't leave it to the politicians. Don't leave it to spiritual teachers. Don't leave it to anyone. Just you do the work. Palms facing down, rolling and bringing the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in. Gentle cobra. I want you to come to a space of gentle cobra where your third eye is activated. And very gently you can come into this intensity, but without being intense about it. So now you are having a way to observe rather than it is turning into eruption. But psychologically, it is the phoenix rising from the ashes. Now, in that very moment, the unknown has become your friend. An ego cannot deal with it when people make peace with unknown. So you can see the commentary of the fear in the media even to keep that ego in fear. So it is very controllable. Most of the suffering is added by your habitual things that you do, whether listening to certain things, creating the same energy circulating without even knowing. And it gets stagnated in the same loop. Relax onto the knees and stretch the spine, coming into the space of the child pose. Round of the head onto the floor, lift up the buttocks and activate that pituitary and the pineal energy. Relax back onto the third eye, fist on the third eye. So now you understand. Wake up the spine very gently. Suffering only can exist if it's fear. Because out of fear, you don't want to observe anything, you want to get out of it. Now that getting out of it is the anxiety. But this is now, when you wake up this time, it will give you for the first to notice what you really feel. The body or in the mind, or the mind activating the body. And you can change that energy portal. Now, very gently, once you have come into that space, stretch the legs into the front. Once you stretch the legs, toes pointing at each other, bring the calf muscle out for a while. So your toes are pointing at each other, your heels are apart. Just to release and point and flex the foot to release any further tension that is stagnated with the story. So without the story, now you're sitting into the practice. Now take a deep breath in, feet together. Even you can slightly bend the knees together. Pull out the buttocks, arms raise onto the crown. Rolling into the toes, rolling into the hips. Now yourself inquire into the spaces of whether it's your dark past or the past that you don't want to talk, but you're not talking now. You're looking into the roots of it. Now, when someone looks into the roots of it, rather than arranging the parts of the tree and the branches and the flowers and the fruit, it can be a very sick roots. But real blossoming will happen when we have the energy to look into the roots. But the society interrupts this process. That's why in Sri Lanka, when a funeral happens, we mourn for 7 days, we mourn for 3 months, we mourn every year because it's quite easy for to look into that challenge. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relax and chest open. Now feet stretch again into the front. Now knees to the chest to complete. Breathe out. Breathing in, arms raised onto the crown. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Chin up. Breathing in. Keep the spine straight. Chin up. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Now very gently set the legs down to the floor. Now very gently arms stretch up to the ceiling. Arms roll back onto the back of the hip. Palms facing down. Lift up the hip. Toes pointing onto the floor. Now very gently coming back. Knees to the chest, completely breathe out. Now this time lock onto the toes. Take a deep breath in. If you can slightly lift up the feet or to get the feet wide apart, it's up to you. Chin up. Buoyance that chest. Allow that energy to move through. Knees to the chest. Now roll back and fall onto the floor. Now take a deep breath in. Bring the knees to the chest. Now very gently dropping the knees to the right side, head turning onto the opposite direction and palms facing down, stretch those arms. When this realization and this revelation happens to you, there is a new level of understanding and a realization, and a new fresh level comes out blossoming. When you really look into that, whether it's for you, whatever it is, whether it's fear of losing things, fear of the past, the boredom, whatever it is. Once you have cracked that stagnation, there is a fragrance in it. Back into the center. This is the chest and dropping onto the other side. Back into the center. Knees to the chest. Now feet closer to the buttocks. Hug the tailbone under, arms stretching next to the hips. And very gently peeling off that spine one vertebra. Now the first time in this realization, you could see all the things in the energy of the universe. The stories that people are wearing like costumes. Armor that constantly people are fighting with. But they don't realize that armor, what I'm talking about, the words, the habitual patterns, the cages and the shackles that they're wearing without even them knowing. Very gently collapse the spine one vertebra at a time. Because now you're connected with that. Take a deep breath in, tap the tailbone, peel off the spine one vertebra at a time. Pay attention. Now even you see the people are, or where you used to be, or where you are, you at least have realized and welcoming the union of your realization. Coming down one vertebra at a time. Now knees to the chest. Forehead onto the knee completely. Breathe out. And when you're breathing in, relax the body back into the flow. Palms facing up, feet apart. Now, when this happens, only you understand the dance of the life which I have touched about Leela. So now you see everything is happening for a reason. There is no need to get serious about it, no need to get agitated about it. Now take a deep breath and breath out and release this tension of blame, separation. Now, even hypothetically, you see the division. It is the multi-dimension of the same truth. You got this far? Whether it's the emotion of the mind, whether it's emotion, the agitation of the body. We have come to recognize the truth. But you are in the present moment. You're coming to that Turiya, the tune. Now your mind is not wasting energy of the chatter of it. Now it is the path that you're using for the creation. It's blossoming into a fragrance. Blossoming is not a sin. It is another level of energy that people come into it. There's a unique aspect of this fragrance. Now you understand that even this practice is, if you come into that realization, it is not needed. A lot of rituals are for people who doesn't understand this, so that gently, even for a few hours or few seconds, you can get them out of that illusion. Now you're not giving any energy into anything, because you have come into that space of the understanding and realization. Imagine if your body runs and runs and runs and you cannot stop, how much tiredness will come to you. It is the same thing when people run with this information in there. Shut. You pay attention. Now you're offering your space into something much more larger than little. I'm taking a deep breath in, very gently bringing the knees to the chest. Do a good rotation and release the tension of that spine. Onto the other side. Now rub the spine. Coming into a seated posture. That you have released the shackles of the emotions. You have released the armor of. You're totally naked now. Twist the spine to the right. Back into the center. Change the leg formation onto the other. Back into the center. Take a deep breath in, shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back, massage the back of the skull. Open and close the mouth wider, releasing the tension of that jaw on the space of the practicality. Into the chest, completely breathe out into a space of gap. Take a deep breath in. Tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. Neutral spine. Now you're appreciating as the in-breath and the out-breath as the union. Same is the separation and oneness as the union. And you're bringing everything into that non-dual space of realization. When you come into this realization, you understand in this moment there is tragedy happening in the world. Someone is losing someone, someone is dying somewhere, someone is getting. But instead of taking the negative part of it, you understand and wake up into the positiveness. You have come into that brutal honesty of yourself. But you're not assigning labels. You're not imposing labels on this. I am this, I am that. And you do not even trust in anything as a label. Now, what is there in you? Because you have a new set of eyes to see the situation. Arms raised onto the ground, cleansing the space and the aura from all these labels and stories. And waking up into that newest level of the understanding, coming into the crown. So if the mountain erupts, anger comes, you have now, usually it's a lesson in awareness. Before you were not fully aware of it, but now you are honest about at that very moment. Third eye. There is nothing to miss or missing or to gain. Throat chakra. Same thing. Observe whether your words comes out of fear and disgust, but in unity. Heart chakra. Never let that heart to change its momentum out of fear and doubt. Let it breathe by joy and wonder. Solar plexus, releasing the loop of your story. Never. You're through to your emotions and you're able to look into the roots of it. Muladhara, grounding in yourself into the practice and its attention. Arms raised onto the crown, attending to this moment fully, giving the whole attention in observing, in that absolute into the moment. Comes onto the Namaskar position, into the realization of that truth. Namaste. Now you understand. Now it looks like what? We are learning and learning and learning and learning. You understand? But we are not learning. We are just brushing. We're just brushing, because if you stop brushing by the practice of sadhana, it's like the teeth. It goes back. It creates all these other things. Same is into our intelligence. If we don't keep on observing it, we create the story back again. But you understand the multiplicity of it is the same union. Even under spirituality, if you talk and talk without observing it, it will be shift from the truth. So it's very important in these times. Even you send me emails of missing people and this and that and that. I do look at in the same space of the understanding and realization, and I just look at what is missing in me. And I said at the start of the class, you're looking at all these things and say the world is in a very bad place, we are not safe, our children cannot go for a walk, and this and that and that. But in the end, you will see the biggest intruder is yourself, because you don't want to look at yourself. So when the world says, and you take something and you look at where it is stored, where it is agitated, and what is in the past trauma that it is connected to you. And very gently, you will have a compassionate understanding without taking side to realize this. Otherwise, we will be in conflict. We will praise the good and we will punish the bad. We'll still be in the same war that we were fighting for a long time. And when you realize and wake up into this truth, your whole family lineage is getting out of the trauma. And it is an enlightening space to be. Now that's why we come every Saturday to give this Dharma. Not that I need to teach you anything. You are a profound group of people. Just to activate that space so that you can take time to look into those spaces. Saying that, enjoy, there's a public holiday coming. Enjoy those parts, rest, give a holiday to the story. When it comes up, have a look. Because if you ask the movie to stop and change, but repeating the same story, it will never change. I love to you all. Big hugs to Sylvia, big hugs to Dr. Michelle, Maria, Sage, Rebecca Des, and Dr. Michelle. Love you all. Bye.